they're off. Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Welcome to Season 5 of Around the Track. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm your host, Shirl Penney, founder and CEO of Dynasty Financial Partners, and I'm super excited about this episode of Around the Track because I'm joined by a longtime client and friend, Erik Strid, who's one of the founding principals of Concentus Wealth Advisors, just outside of Philadelphia. And if I remember right, and you probably talk about this, Erik, but a little over 10 years ago when you guys launched, you had around 400 million in assets under management, and you've more than doubled as you approach 900 million. So congratulations on all your success, and thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me today.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, so you know the one rule that we have on Around the Track is we're going to do our best to make our way around that virtual track that you see behind me, which is up in Saratoga Springs. I'm going to ask you 8 rapid fire questions. Each one represents one of the 8 furlongs in the mile around the track, and we'll try to wrap it up inside of 15 minutes. So let me get us started with a nice easy one, get you breaking out of the gate fast. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself personally and as well as your business.
So graduated from Amherst College back in 1991. I'm a fellow NESCAC competitor, and after 4 years of beating up on baits in various sports, I actually took a year to develop my interpersonal skills. I was a ski instructor out in Vail, Colorado for a year, and bartender was where I really learned to connect with people. But my professional career, I really generally break down into 3 components. I joined my father's team at Merrill Lynch in 1993, spent 10 years together with him building a team and kind of evolving what was an old-fashioned brokerage book into a more of a financial planning, team-oriented business. Those are great years. My dad was super involved and super engaged in the business, and it was really fun to be his partner doing that. Then in 2003, we left Merrill and joined what at the time was Wachovia Securities in what was called their profit formula platform. A little more independent approach there. We were always hoping to move to become an independent firm, and profit formula we felt like was pretty good kind of intermediate stopping point. During those years, Wachovia became Wells Fargo, as many remember, in 2008, which was a whole education that it was, invaluable education, but at the time, really scary. And then in 2014, we launched Concentus with Dynasty's help, and just had our 10-year anniversary of our independent firm.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, the first time I met you and your brother Paul and dad Zeke, and the multi-generational business, and hearing the history of how you guys had put the business together. And it was really fun to be able to explore the concept of independence with you guys back then. And so glad that here we are a decade later, still close clients and friends. So, all right. So for the second question, I know you guys, again, you've had tremendous growth, as I talked about up front. I think part of that growth is driven by knowing who you are and who you want to serve. Can you talk a little bit about your clientele and where the focus has been, and to the extent it's evolved and changed over time? Maybe tell us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a big proponent of being clear about your values. We're a values-driven organization. We have our 5 values posted very prominently on the wall in the office here, and really the 2 values that are most important to me. They were taught to me by my dad very distinctly. And those most important ones are, first of all, family, and second of all, integrity. Really, those are the 2 things that really meant anything to him at all, was family and integrity. So we really try to translate that to the way we work with clients. We think of our clients as part of our family. And of course, integrity goes without saying with that. Like, you just would never do something to compromise a relationship with a family member. So fiduciary standard to us is just it's like almost goes without saying. And so along with that, the way we conduct our practice is we use an approach called values-based financial planning. Some on the call may be familiar with Bill Bacharach and the whole approach, the financial roadmap. That's the basis for how we interact with clients. And basically just as an intention to try to make our relationship with clients all about them, all about what's important to them, and to really listen to what's important about them. We have an actual documented way of doing that with clients, which is really, we think is really powerful.
Yeah, look, I love hearing you, talk about, some of the things that were instilled in you and Paul and the team, by Zeke, right? And having spent, a fair amount of time with Zeke over the years, you couldn't, you'd start the conversation talking about family, the importance of integrity in business and life, and then you'd end the conversation with him that way. So I very much appreciate that. Uh, one of the many things I enjoy, Eric, about our time together is you're a student of the industry, as am I, and love to talk about trends and things that we're seeing happening in the industry. Uh, Maybe take a moment and talk about some things that you're paying particularly close attention to right now, and how are you looking to, take advantage of that, inside of your business, either in a way that helps you build a better business or take better care of your clients.
So, to me, it's no secret, and it's what a lot of people are talking about the industry is what I would maybe call the robification of our industry, or the AIification, the techification. There's fintech, and then AI is kind of integrating into that as well. And for me, the handwriting is on the wall for that, and I think of it as with everything, there's a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is obvious, and everybody's scared of the fact that we're getting to a world where a computer or a robot is going to be able to do a lot of our job. The opportunity, though, is that there are a small set of things that a robot will never be able to do, and that we're uniquely capable of doing. And that is having a personal relationship with a client, expressing empathy for a client, demonstrating our fiduciary conduct to a client, right? Like being in a position to empathize and connect on a human level with a client will never be taught to a robot or any kind of a AI bot. And so to me, like that's where our opportunity is, but that's also where our challenge is, because as an industry, we need to focus on that. Like we should never try, if you hinge your business on trying to beat a computer at what a computer is good at, you're going to lose every single time, right? But if you hinge your business on things that are human in nature, I think you'll have an incredible opportunity to grow and to become part of the elite of the profession.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and we talk, as you know, a lot about what you're just saying as the cyborging of the industry, where, as you were saying, you take the best of human empathy and understanding around key life, issues, and you combine it with technology that allows you to scale, parts of your business that perhaps will be able to more commoditize over time. And if you can get the right balance, then you're really in a position to win disproportionately. Uh, I'm not going to go on to the next question, because what you just made me think of, and I should have mentioned up front, you're also an author. Let's just take a 30-second break here and let you plug your book here for a second, Eric.
I've actually written 3 books. One's about investing, behavioral investing. One is about the phase of life after 65, which I find really interesting. It's like really kind of unique time in American history for people over 65. But my favorite book is called Empowered Values. That's about values-based financial planning. It's about, planning your wealth around the things that are most important to you in life. There's a lot of discussion in it about, we all think of our wealth as financial assets strictly, our balance sheet, if you will. And, my view is that wealth encompasses your relationships with your family. It encompasses your reputation, your history, your experience, your education. There are all kinds of things that we can count as assets on our balance sheet that have nothing to do with our financial wealth. And really, financial wealth is only valuable to the extent that it enables us to explore those other things and to live a great life.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, after having read the book, my wife, Mary Ann, who we spent some time talking about, how to us really resonated that ultimately the money is just a tool that at the end of the day helps you accomplish your personal goals and objectives, right? Which could be for, us as a couple, our family, our philanthropy, our community, team members and the like. So thanks for that. All right, let's get back on track, unintended. In your opinion, kind of, you talked about some of the exciting things, which maybe can be scary too, I guess, to some. We talk about AI and where things could go wrong, but more broadly, looking at the industry, what do you think are some really pressing things that we as an industry set need to be focused on?
Yeah, and I think it's related to what I just said. I think as an industry, we just focus way too much on well, let me put it this way. There's I think I read this in Stephen Covey. He talked about if you were creating a strategic plan for your business or for anything important that you wanted to do in life, there are three things that you got to be really clear about. And they're in descending order of importance and almost exponentially descending order of importance. The first is you got to be clear about your vision and values. What's your result that you envision, and why is that result important to you? That's the most important thing. Once you have your vision and values, then you can be clear about the goals that you can set along the way to your vision and values. So the quantifiable mile markers that tell you you're getting there. And then and only then do you focus on the tools and tactics you're going to use to achieve your goals so that you can fulfill your values. And I say this with clients all the time. When a typical financial advisor sits down with you, what's the first thing they want to talk about? They want to talk about the tools and tactics that they can bring to the table to help. They want to talk about investment performance, the insurance policy they can sell you, how great their performance reporting system is, et cetera. And there's no focus on the values and some focus on goals, but only so we have something to plug into our financial planning software, right? So we need to have an ability to focus on our clients' lives and them as people and connect in a human way with what's important to them, and stop talking about, this ETF portfolio at 75 basis points that I can sell you. Like, it's just, we focus, and we're never going to be treated with the professionalism that we really aspire to until we can get through that through our heads, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Erik, I want to pivot here for a moment. There's a lot of people watching this conversation, I would imagine, that are leaders or perhaps are new leaders, right? Maybe some people who have just launched a business and evolving from advisor to CEO for the first time. And you help build and run a practice, and now obviously having made the transition or helping to run a business. So, can you think of a particular, leadership lesson, something that has happened to you along the way? What did you learn about it? How did it make you a stronger leader?
Yeah, I would say that going independent, clearly was the one, by far the biggest moment for me in development as a leader. It definitely was a moment where, well, two things happened. One is it took more courage than I think almost anything I'd ever done before. Was a strategic coach guy, and Dan Sullivan used to say that fear is being so afraid that you wet your pants. Courage is doing what it takes with wet pants, right? And when you go independent, there are a lot of things you got to do with wet pants, right? Like I was scared, right? I mean, we had a big business. I had a lot of people counting on me, and I had no idea if this was going to work out. So it really, and forever, I'll have that courage inside of me, and that's big, because you lead. You have to be courageous to be a leader. But then the second thing it taught me was this fact, and I've really expanded on this in the last 10 years, that if I'm going to have to be the only one doing everything and developing the business, and there's a cap, right? Like, we just cannot grow beyond, because I'm a limited human and I'm getting older, and my number of hours in the day is just finite. So I really shifted the focus to more developing the team, and less me being the superstar in the middle of everything.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I remember, like I said, I remember like yesterday when you guys were launching, and it's always, to your point, it can be it can feel daunting, it can be a bit scary, it's a lot exciting. And then I find that so many of your peers, they get on the other side and they wonder why do they worry so much, which I think is kind of the human experience, and they all kind of say the same thing, which is, we probably should have done this sooner. Um, as I said at the onset, it's been a little over 10 years, which is remarkable. It probably feels like 10 minutes. It can go pretty quick once the flywheel gets going. The vast majority of your growth, again, more than doubled since you launched, has come from organic growth. You guys have not done a lot of M&A. But if you think about the next 5 or maybe the next 10 years for the business, Erik, what does it look like in terms of how you look to evolve the firm, build the brand, grow the business, the team? What does the future look like for Concentus?
Our kind of 10-year goal is 10 times in 10 years. So, I'd like to be a $50 million revenue business in 10 years. And probably I would say, and this has been a mindset shift as well, is advisor development is really the way we expect to do that. And different from some who might look at that as an M&A proposition, it just hasn't been for us. Maybe it will become at some point in time, but I would much rather hire an analyst, right out of college, bring someone in here and demonstrate and show them a vision for a career track where they could become, make $1 million someday, and really focus on helping young advisors kind of move up the ladder and become professionals, and really develop the firm that way. I'd love to have, a big team and big force of advisors who have been here for a long time and have kind of cut their teeth and become really successful as a part of Concentus. That's my longer term vision.
Look, if I were a younger professional, whether just out of college or looking to make a shift, and I heard this conversation, I would be calling you immediately. So thanks for that, and congratulations on the incredible growth that you've had thus far. And 10 times in 10 years, I love, me, I love those bold statements. So that's exciting, and look forward to helping you do it. All right, Erik, we're turning for home here, right? So just 2 questions left. And this one is definitely my favorite one on the list, because I want to give you an opportunity to talk just for a moment about the Be Like Zeke Foundation, which is something that, here at Dynasty, we've been really proud to be a supporter of. And I know it means so much to you and your family and the team. So can you tell us a little bit about the foundation, why, who it's named after, why it's been set up, who it's to benefit, and if someone wants to get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, so we've started a foundation. My dad was known as Zeke. That was his nickname. And he his whole life he had a real very soft spot for homeless people. The way he looked at it was when he was working down in downtown Philadelphia as a young broker. A lot of the guys that were on the street were Vietnam vets who had come back from Vietnam and just couldn't cope with life and got involved in drug and alcohol. And he was unable to go to Vietnam because he was hurt. And so his attitude was like, there, but for the grace of God, go me. So he just had this very passion for helping homeless people. I can remember being a kid and he'd come home at night. And this is a true story. He came home one night and my mom said, "Where's your overcoat?" It was like a snowy night. What happened to your overcoat? Brand new overcoat. Oh, there was this guy in the street who was cold and he needed it more than me. So that grew into an involvement with an organization called Project Home. And now after his passing, we've decided to start a foundation called Be Like Zeke that will benefit Project Home and their work, basically to minister to people that are living on the street and having hard times. A lot of that now is becoming opioid addiction. So we're going to specifically support efforts to help people to break that terrible cycle. You can contact me, Erik at concentus.com.
All right, we're headed towards the finish line, which means we're on to the last question. It's the exact same question that I've asked every guest on the over 50 plus shows that we've now produced around the track, which is, Erik, what is your triple crown? Meaning, what is that big seemingly unattainable goal that sits out there that in racing, it's hard to win the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont, all in the same year. A lot's got to go right. You need a lot of support from your team, but nonetheless, you get up every day and you say, "I'm going to fight towards it." Right. So, looking through that lens, what is that, big goal that you and your team, your family, however you want to interpret it, are working so hard towards?
Yeah, so having a B in front of the AUM number just would be really cool. We're a tick under 900 million right now, so we have it on the wall, like tracking towards a billion. And we gave ourselves a few years to do it, but like I would really like to do it by my next birthday, July 8th next year, which would mean, a little more than $100 million in new assets coming in the door in a year, which would be like probably our best year ever or close to it. I think we can do it, but it's going to definitely take some elbow grease. But if my birthday present this time next year could be, hey, you guys are $1 billion firm, I'd be pretty psyched on the way to our 10 times goal.
That's awesome. Well, I certainly wouldn't bet against you, and in fact, I'm going to push a lot of chips in to bet on you in that regard. Look, you took a pop shot earlier at Bates. It's understandable because for a lot of us Bates guys, Amherst is our safety school or one of our top safety schools. So I appreciate the jab, my friend. More than that, though, I really appreciate any opportunity to sit down and have a conversation. So thank you for doing it, Erik.
My pleasure. You're the best.
Awesome. And I want to also thank all of you for tuning in again to another edition of Around the Track.